What's up guys, this is Coach Ray from Voice of Armwrestling, and today we're going to train pronation. In this video I'm going to give you 5 exercises to develop your pronation. Most likely this video will mostly help arm wrestlers, but if you're lifting heavy things and you want to keep your elbows healthy, pronation as well as supination work is necessary in long term. Pronation is one of the fundamentals of arm wrestling, and I rank it very high because almost every technique depends on ability that you can keep your pronator. Depending on the style in different positions, it doesn't just mean that you're able to over pronate someone when you're top rolling, it also means being able to defend it. You know, when someone wanna turn your hand in, being able to stop them here, like in a hook position. So pronation is very, very necessary for every arm wrestler, and there are many different ways how we can develop it. There are 3 main contraction types for every muscle: concentric, eccentric, and isometric. So let's say concentric is going up, eccentric is lowering weight down, and isometric, static, is just keeping it, you know, without moving anything. To develop muscles for arm wrestling, you need all of those contraction types incorporate in your training. Arm wrestling training gets weirder and more complicated the longer you do it. For pronation, as well as most of the exercises, you can have hundreds of different variations. Again, it comes down to your style and what you want to develop. Do you want to work on your strengths? You want to strengthen your weaknesses? Or you want to develop muscle? You want to create muscle-mind connection? Because in arm wrestling, everything is working together. So whenever I'm doing my top roll, it's back pressure together with pronation. When I'm attacking going to the side, it's back pressure, pronation, side pressure. So as well in a hook, you know, there's bicep working together with your pronator, being able to pull like this. So the training should reflect that. It should be very different and it should be changing depending on what you're doing, what your goal is, and how far is the competition. First exercise is isolated pronation. I'm using table, I'm using a belt, and some free weights like a kettlebell. So this is isolated movement. There's no other muscles are involved. I like to stay close. You can always get your arms straightened out and work from here, but most likely I'm gonna work here. And what I'm trying to avoid is moving away with my shoulder, because it helps, you know, with the move when you do this. So you want to keep it as tight as possible and make the hand and arm do all the work. So this is isolated, so no other muscles should be involved, and we can really develop our pronator muscle. My recommendation is from 8 to 20 reps, 3 to 4 sets, maybe more, again, however you want to do it. But you want to condition the muscle for it to be able to rotate, you know, especially, and hold the tension. Let's say you got here and you want to work on your pronator. You just want to isolate it. There are a few variations how you can do this exercise. So depending on your style or where you want to develop the pronator, because a lot of people will do it differently. A lot of low hand top rollers will use their wrist as a pronation point, and we'll do it like this. Most of the time guys are rotating with their thumb. So it goes like this and working here. Posting top roll usually works really high on the knuckle, so you work it like this. Another thing, you can do full range of motion, or just working from a little bit going in supination and going back, little in supination and going back. My number 1 tip is to pack. If you pack something on your arm, like towel or any kind of cloth, you can have tension not escaping. So when I'm doing this and going from straight position to over pronated position, there's almost no tension here because the rotation point is so close. You make the rotation point further away, here it's even heavier than it was here. And my number one tip is to squeeze. Squeeze here and feel the pronator activating. Squeeze and feel the burn. When you're arm wrestling and you're using your pronator, most likely it's working synergistically with brachioradialis or elbow flexor group, basically. So it's important to work them together. This is one of my absolute favorite exercises because you can really develop the move that you want, and it works together, the pronator muscle together with back pressure. The problem is guys sometimes overdo the weights and they are not really focused on pronation part, they're more focused on back pressure part, which is a different exercise. So yeah, just for you guys to understand, if I'm doing something like this, this is back pressure through pronation. What I like to call this is half or partial curls, back pressure plus pronation. So the hand will go through kind of ellipse move from supination at the bottom of 90 degrees to pronation at the top. And again, I'm getting that squeeze on top. Again, depending on your style, you can do it over the thumb, over the wrist, or over the hand and the knuckle. The biggest problem with this exercise is usually too big weights, and when you use too big weights, you start doing it like this, and basically you can see the angle here, I don't know, 5 degrees. The most tension on the muscle is when it's in a 90-degree position, so here or even here. So my best advice is hold on to something and lean forward, and from here you can work partials, or even you can go full range. But the big thing is that squeeze on top. Squeeze on top, hold it for a second, go back. Like I said, eccentric motion, lowering the weights is very important, and sometimes you will have like a bad day. You come to training, you want to lift heavy, but you just don't feel it. And sometimes your ego will be there and you might hurt yourself, or you might do work that is very unnecessary. On those days, I try to remind myself that get the work done, and easiest way to get the work done is lower the weights and have longer eccentric phase. So intentionally, slowly releasing the muscle. Go up, slowly release the muscle. Your muscle now is working on two ways, up and down. It's getting all the tension going down and up, and it's just way more beneficial than just lifting up and letting it down as fast as you can, catching it and hitting it up. We isolated the pronator, we put it together with back pressure, we work concentric, eccentric. Now let's do some statics. All you need is a resistance band. Belt will work, but I love that resistance band is moving around and it doesn't let your body or muscles to relax at any second. So super easy variation. You take it like this, put some weight in between, keeping your arms at 90-degree position, lean forward a little bit, and you can just stand there. Or even you can just walk around, doesn't matter. You just like, you know, bye, see you, and come back. Keeping your arms at 90 degrees, it will work again your back pressure, and it will hold your pronator. And again, the variations over the thumb, holding like this, over the knuckles or at top of your hand, or over your wrist like this. And again, position can change. So if you're mostly fighting in a hook, this is maybe not the best position where it should be. If you want to strengthen that position, you might let it out a little bit right here and just work on this position. Being able where it builds up connection with your bicep more than with your brachialis and brachioradialis muscles. Or you can turn in all the way here and just work. You can pack this if you want, will make it even harder. I like to use this exercise at the end of my workout when everything is already finished. I will just put this on and walk a few circles. So sets and reps, it's a hard one because this is such an interesting exercise. It really drains you, so I like to do it at the end of my workouts. Just walk around the gym, a few circles, depending on how much weight I want to put on. I'm using one resistance band. You can use two, so each arm is even more separate. You know, works great both ways. So I have a setup here on arm wrestling table with a cable system. As you see, the cable system isn't facing me, it's diagonally from me. So I like this variation just because it creates really good tension on your back pressure as well as your side pressure. So again, you can take it different ways, like this, over the thumb, over the wrist. So the move, basically starting position, you let it out with the supination and a little bit of back pressure right here. Come back to the straight position and pull in to the center a little bit, like this. Hop, and pull back like this. This exercise comes really down to coordination as well, so you can do it in full coordination. So you lost a little bit of the center of side pressure, come back, you pull back to the here. You can go for full supinated position, going back to pronation and pulling a little bit in, like this. You can go a little bit more sideways, like this. However you do it depends on your style and what you want to achieve. In cable system, I like to work between 8 to 12 reps, 3 to 4 sets. This is really good exercise, especially for coordination, and you can put your arm in very compromising positions and then work your way out from it. So this is why I like it. And again, because we are diagonally from it, it's pulling me right here, and I have to fight the pronation, fight the back pressure, and fight the side pressure. This is another exercise that you can do basically in any gym. All you need is a cable system and something like a belt. So don't mind the weights. I usually do it with full stacks on each side, but here, just for you guys, you know, I might take down some weight. So very easily, I like to keep my body static, so I'm gonna be holding on to the table. I'm gonna pull my elbow to my side, and here I can do many different things. I can fully supinate my hand, and then from there, work my way out and pronate like this. I can keep it in about 45 degrees here and do the same move. This is much easier, and you can work with bigger weights, or you can go for full pronation work. So this is different just because it's hitting the pronator from the side. So more side pressure is activated, and I always like to keep my elbow here, because if you start to move your elbow forward, you will lose the pronation aspect of it, and you will start to press. Because a lot of guys will usually, they will think of this when you want to be doing this. So my elbow doesn't leave my side. It moves just a little bit forward and back, but I have full tension on my pronator right here. So you can go for full range, then you lose your elbow connection with your body, come back, pull up. But if you're close to competition, you can work from here, just partials, just going through that motion. So the most exercise that you do with your pronation, the weight comes from down here. Usually it doesn't come from the side, because it's very hard to find position where you can activate pronator. So about 45-degree decline, and you will have that. Because most likely in arm wrestling match, someone's gonna attack you from that direction. So you should not be able just to be strong by lifting up and going over, but also being strong on pushing in and pronating through. So different variations, depending on your style, you can find the best solution for yourself with everything I gave you here. So the big takeaway from this is train your pronation. Doesn't matter what kind of style of arm wrestler you are, you're most likely using pronation. Even guys that get opened up and hold their hand here, it's very hard to supinate them completely because they have strong pronator in this position. So it really doesn't matter what you do, train your pronator, just train it where you use it, because everyone uses it differently. Some as attacking move, some as defensive move, but it's super, super important for arm wrestlers. One more time for reps and sets, as this is such a small muscle, when it's isolated, I would recommend higher reps, because you want to condition the muscle to be able to work together with the rest of the group. But when you're doing it together with, like we did, side pressure, back pressure, then you can go for lower reps, 6 to 12 or 8 to 12, and it will work great. 3 to 4 sets, doesn't matter, do 10 sets. Just get stronger. I hope this video helped you to become better arm wrestler. Implement any of these exercises in your training. You don't have to use all of them, just use what you want, but do it consistently and you will see improvement. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Get some arm wrestling merch, link is in description. Stay strong, love arm wrestling.